Good evening, everyone. Speaking to you today is Chris Outson. I am a third year MFA forensic student at Minnesota State University Mankato. Now, you may be members of the Maverick Forensics team, or you may be other MSU students who are watching this just to uh, get some more information. What I am going to be talking about today is how to most efficiently access the databases that you want for your specific topic. MSU has access to a wide variety of journals, included in a wide variety of databases on any number of topics, and sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't. It can be somewhat tricky if you don't know where you are going. So what I want to do is take you through a short step-by-step process that might help clarify how you can actually find databases that would include articles that you could be looking for. So what I'm using as a sample today is a persuasion speech. One of my students is working on a persuasive speech on the juvenile rape crisis within the detention system. So there's a huge issue of rape of uh, juvenile offenders in detention centers, and so her persuasion is going to be on that. So the question then is, how would we find articles on this particular speech? If we were working on this together, what would I show her in order to find the articles that are strongest? Of course, we start at the mnsu.edu library page. So go to the main page for MSU Mankato, and then click over on the right, Library Services, right up at the top. Now, what many people do immediately when they do start searching for articles in databases is they just click on the tab for articles in that main search bar. That takes you automatically through Academic Search Premier. Now, Academic Search Premier is a very, very, very broad database. It may include some of the articles that you're looking for, but if you want to narrow your search and be more efficient, then that's probably not the option you want. When you have something specific in mind, what I would suggest you do is go to class and subject guides. If you look over on the left-hand side, you'll see a taskbar starting with Library Home and then moving down in a vertical column. Click on Class and Subject Guides. Now what this takes us to is a huge list of class and subject guides broken down into some of the major categories you might be talking about or discussing. Now from here, this is where you have to start thinking critically. You have to figure out which subject guide is going to work best for you. And in some cases, several of them might. For example, I could see this topic of the rape crisis in juvenile detention centers working under a variety of subject headings. It could fall under communication studies, corrections, gender and women's studies might be an option, possibly law enforcement, maybe military science. That has potential but isn't necessarily the best fit. Where I thought the best fit might be, at least for a starting point, was in sociology. So, keeping in mind our sample topic, that's where we're going. But whatever your specific topic is, choose the subject that's going to be the best fit for your topic, and then go with that. So let's just click on sociology. Now, sometimes there are multiple different options because sometimes professors might make a separate category if they have particular classes that they want to provide you library references for. So in this case, there is one for Sociology 425, Social Movements, for Dr. Buechler. However, that's not the one we're looking for. The one we're looking for is up at the top, Sociology. So whatever the equivalent is for your particular topic or subject, go ahead and click on that. In this guide, you have all kinds of options available to you. You have article options. You can find books on this. There's a list of recommended websites that could be very, very useful. And then, of course, citing sources. Do remember to always cite your sources, and when you're going through your databases, be sure you get that citation information accurate. That's not the topic of this lecture, so I'm not going to go into any further detail on that, but I'm kind of a stickler on that. So please remember to do your citing properly, and when in doubt, feel free to ask a librarian, ask an instructor, ask someone for help on how you would cite sources. Now, what we're looking for today, journal articles. We're looking for databases. So what you want to do is click on articles. These are the recommended journal databases that you could potentially use for topics in sociology. There's sociological abstracts. Now, think critically here. That may not give you the full article. It may only provide abstracts. And it says in the description right there, provide citations and abstracts to articles about sociology and related disciplines in the social and behavioral sciences. So you can think critically there, look at the definition of it or the description of it and say, I don't think I need to search that because it's not going to really give me full articles which I need for source citations. Sometimes you will get things that are very, very broad as well. So for example, JSTOR provides lots of articles in a variety of different topics. It's not necessarily specialized to sociology, but it includes sociological articles that fit into this subject area. So again, you could search that one, and that would be perfectly fine. I actually like JSTOR a lot. But if you're looking to refine your search, you may want to keep looking for something that's a little bit more specific. So lots of different options here. You have PsycInfo. You have Sage Premier, LexisNexis Academic Universe, Communication and Mass Media Complete. There are so many different options that you could go with. Down at the bottom of the page are websites that may be useful for you. But again, we're looking for databases. Now, I've looked over all of these, and I was trying to figure out, what's going to work best. I know very little about this topic because it's not my topic, it's my student's topic. So rape in juvenile detention centers, not really something that I'm strong with. So I wanted to start a little bit more broadly and see what I could find. So I decided to start with Sage Premier. You may pick any one of these databases and go with it. Whatever is going to work best for you and your topic. Think critically about it. But we're going with Sage Premier, just for a start. All right, so here we are. Now this is where you almost have to kind of learn from experience and experiment on search terms. You've got to be able to find search terms that are broad enough to actually get you results, but are still specific enough that you're going to be able to find something that is actually going to be useful for you. So one of the things that I know might be included in this speech on rape in the juvenile detention center might be the stigma associated with prisons or prison time. To make it specific to juveniles might be tricky. So what I'm going to start with is we'll just go with prison, move over to the second bar, and type stigma. It's specific, but not too specific. Let's see what we get. All right. So here we have some content results. Now currently, unfortunately, the number is huge, 2,740. That's a lot that you would have to sort through. So you have to think about how you want to prioritize your sources. In forensics, recency of sources is often considered to be very important. So we'll just go over here to the little tab on the right. Results are ordered. Instead of relevance, let's go by most recent and see what we get. Now you see we've gotten different results because they're ordered differently. And then basically what you have to do is just go through and take a look and see if you are able to find anything that you think is going to work. Now currently I don't see anything, and that's because maybe the most recent ones are the least relevant, and that's just a choice you're going to have to make. So let's see if we can narrow this down even further. We kept it broad with prison stigma last time. This time, let's add juvenile to it and see what happens. I apologize for the slow transition of screens. My internet's a little bit slow tonight. Here we go. Now again, this time it still gives us approaching 800 articles. That's less to sort through. That's about 2,000 less to sort through. Once again, let's change that to most recent just to see what's out there. Now, again, all we would have to do is look for something that might be useful in this speech. Now remember, even though you're searching for something specific, that doesn't mean you won't find something for the rest of your paper or the rest of your speech along the way. So don't be afraid to get a little bit sidetracked and find an article that might work a little bit later on. Now, because I'm not seeing anything immediately and because our time is running short here, I do want to emphasize we're not necessarily finding an article for this point on the prison stigma. But I do see where this article on the contingent effect of race in the juvenile court detention decisions could be useful. I don't know that it would be useful, but it's fairly recent, published December 11th, 2012. It's from Race and Justice in July 2013, actually. So it's going to be a fairly recent article and might be good for citation. So what you do is you go ahead and click on the article. Now, you can either go straight to the full text, which can take a little bit longer to load, or you can simply click on the abstract, like I'm going to do right here. And now, citation information is over here. I'm going to highlight it. So remember to cite. You do have access to the full text PDF. It is free to us. You may be asked when you enter your databases to sign in with your MSU login and campus username if you aren't using campus internet. Read the abstract. That way you can kind of make a decision as to whether or not you need to read the full article and see if there's anything useful to you. Abstracts are a great time saver. They'll usually give you some indication as to whether you can reject the article straight away. Okay? So that is kind of a brief overview on how to use databases. I know that it is a relatively short lecture, but I hope it's useful to you in some way. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask librarians, instructors, or your forensics coaches if you need any help. But hopefully this kind of breaks the wall a little bit and you can start using your databases most efficiently to find articles and databases that are right for your particular topic. Thank you all very much for your time, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.